I see the EBA up there, the Entrepreneurs Business Academy.
Absolutely.
What's your involvement with those guys?
It's something that I'd always wanted to do, because when I go back to when I was younger, you're desperate to go and set up in business, and really the word entrepreneur wasn't particularly used then. And where do you go? There isn't anywhere to go and learn. You just got to set up a business and you learn as you go. And lots of people end up sort of becoming accountants or doing an MBA, but it doesn't really teach you the things that you need to know when you're actually out on the street setting up a business. So I felt that it would be lovely to set something up, and with Bev, who I thought was the perfect person to do with it, running the coaching academy and the skill set to do it, where we could offer that back. So it really is the practical issues that you're going to face in business, whether you want to start a business or whether you already have a business. And the people that are giving that advice are people that have been there, they've done it, they're now the grey hairs and they've experienced it. So you can learn, what's taken us 25, 30 years, in a period of months. And therefore the advantage you're going to have when you get your business going is huge. And I just wish it's something that I could have done when I was 19 years old.
You can learn from other people's stumbling blocks rather than stumbling yourself.
Yeah.
You were speaking about practical advice. What are a couple of pointers perhaps you could give to some startups?
The thing that I always go on about, I think it's so key, is the difference between a cash positive and a cash negative business. Lots of people set up a business without realising that the more it grows, the more cash they need to put into that business, and often set up a business on a shoestring because they haven't got the cash to start with. So it's so important that you get your business so that it's cash positive. And let me try and give you an example. If I take Little Chef, you'll come and buy a sausage from me tomorrow, but I won't pay someone for that sausage for 60 days. So I've got the money from you before I've paid my supplier. But imagine if I was a retail business and I'm importing clothes from the Far East and selling in my shop. I've got to pay my Chinese supplier up front. He puts the stock on the boat. It might take a month, 2 months. I've then got it hopefully in my shop. It then might take me 2 or 3 months to sell it. So then by the time you've paid me, I've had all of those costs. So the more stock I buy, the more cash negative I am, the more money I need to borrow. So it's so important to businesses when they're starting to ensure that they're understanding the difference between cash positive and cash negative. And the biggest problem we see with businesses, they fall over because they overtrade. And everyone thinks, well, how can you overtrade? How can you fall over because you overtrade? Because surely you're doing well. But the reason you fall over is because the overtrading means you're using too much cash because you've got a cash negative business. If you had a cash positive business, you can't overtrade. So that would be number one advice I give to people when they're looking at any new business or their existing business and looking at how their business is financed. It's so key.
What was your best turnaround that you guys have been involved in?
Best turnaround. It's difficult to, what's best? Is it your financial return? Is the one that was the most exciting? Probably the best from the point of view of the most rewarding, but not just financially, was a small business we bought back in 2004, where 2 American ladies had come over to the UK to set the business up, and we put merchandising units, or they put merchandising units into UK stores and really shopping centres in the main. So when you go into a shopping centre, you see that bit in the middle selling bonsai trees and jumpers.
Right, okay.
And they did that. And they brought that concept over from America, where it's huge in America. And really, 7 years ago, 10 years ago, it wasn't here at all. They teamed up with some guys in the UK, and they did a 50-50 share. They said, look, we'll go and get the business. And the guys in the UK said, well, we'll run the finances. And they did a great job. They got all the contracts sorted, etc. And then, unfortunately, they went back to America for a couple of weeks at Christmas with a nice chunk of money in the bank account. They came back and it had gone. And the other shareholders, financial director, had taken the money, and it looked like they were going to lose their business, something they'd been working for 3 years, and were going to lose everything. And when we first met them, they were absolutely on the floor. They had no idea what to do. They had no cash whatsoever. And we went through a really dark period with them. And we got out of that, and we managed to restructure the business. We got them their 50% shares back, but we became the new 50% shareholder. with a properly funded business, and we grew that business and grew very successfully. And then a number of years later, we sold it. And it was lovely, that process from how low they were to then when we were in 3 or 4 years later in the room selling the business and how high they were. And you know, that gives you a lot of satisfaction that you can do that. Yes, of course, it gives you financial reward as well, but it's not just about the financial reward. There's a lot to that as well.
If a business owner is really struggling just with these critical things that they might not have thought about, their cash flow, you know, they've got an idea that they're so passionate about, but it's just not working out, why should they give you a call?
What businesses must do is realise that something's going wrong as early as they possibly can, because you know, maybe your largest customer has got some issues. There's lots of issues in retail at the moment. If you're one of your largest customers or Habitat or TJ Hughes, then you will have issues. They're not of your doing, but you've got issues with your business. And you're going to start thinking, well, what am I going to do? I have to shut it down. All we say to people is come and see us as early as you can, because it might not be for us to invest in it, but we might be able to give you some ideas and advice on what you can do to get yourself out of the situation. But the later you leave it, the harder it is, because the earlier you are in the process, the more help, advice we can always give. And what's worked really well with the Entrepreneurial Business Academy, people have come to see us and they've been at all sorts of stages, from a brand new startup, we've been able to put them in touch with the right people to help them and stop making the mistakes, to people that have had established businesses for a long time but really feel like they're hitting themselves against a brick wall because nothing's changed and they want to grow, but we can help and advise and just show, look, this is, if you do this, this, this. And then we've had the others where they have lost a significant contract and we've been able to help them because it's been early enough to show how they can restructure their business so they don't lose everything and they can carry on with their business. So it's just really seeking help and advice as early as you possibly can.
Well, you've given us some great advice today, so thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.